Kept you waiting, huh?
Hello everyone, SHAREfactory here, and this is my Resident Evil 3 Remake Inferno difficulty, no damage, S rank, no shop items run. So folks, I'm going to be totally transparent here. I did not think this run would have been possible for me at all. I did not think I had the skills to do this run. I did not think I would have the patience to do this run. Yet I was able to. And I really think it was because of the quarantine that we're in. Because I had way more time. I had extra time to kill. There were many factors involved in this one. But I also think because if I walked away from this game knowing that I didn't do a run like this, I knew that this game would not truly have been completed. So the first thing you're going to notice here is there's a transition right now where Jill walks into here and it goes to the window here. The reason for that transition is because the only autosave that Inferno gives you as the player is in that room. Luckily, you don't have to replay that first-person section every single time you fail in a run like this, or take damage, which was kind of Capcom, but still, I would have preferred a difficulty that had actual checkpoints, and the ability to save more than 5 times, that's for sure. Because folks, in order to get an S rank run, you need to save a total of 5 times, or less, if you're feeling dangerous. And I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to attempt a single segment run. I can 100% confidently tell you I am not one of those people at all. Absolutely not. I love checkpoints in games. I do not like starting games from the beginning all the way to the end. And even when I did a run on Outlast 2 on Insane difficulty, even that was not enjoyable for me. Of course, I needed to do it because I wanted to get 100% the game, I wanted to platinum the game, so I pushed myself to do it. But was it something that I wanted to do? No, I did not want to do that. I just purely did it for completion. But I knew that with this game, if I did not do this run, I would be kicking myself left and right until I did it. So here it is, folks. Now, a friendly reminder, you do not get any autosaves in this game, and you have to save a total of 5 times, maximum. So, the first save that you're going to see here is, and by the way, that zombie is tricky, okay? He is 100% tricky. Sometimes he will not be in that position. Other times he will be facing you, and you will have to do a perfect dodge to get past him. Luckily, his back was towards me, and I was able to walk right past him.
There's a helicopter waiting to take you to safety.
Fun little historical fact here, folks. In the original RE3 Nemesis game on PlayStation 1, I remember this scene where the guy goes into that container there and locks himself in. And I remember playing that probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And it's one of my early memories of video games, and it was because my older brother, he owned a PlayStation 1, and he got this game, well, not this one, but, you know, the original one, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis for PlayStation 1. And I saw him playing this game, and I was immediately intrigued. I love the horror aspect, I love the zombies, and soon after that, I was able to get my hands on Silent Hill as probably a 9-year-old kid and play through that from start to end. Which is incredible for this day and age because, I mean, back then the graphics were pixelated, and back then, you know, it looked a little bit more cartoony compared to graphics these days where it's 100% gore and ribs popping out of people's chests and everything. So I feel like my parents overlooked that a little bit. But anyway, folks, another gentle reminder is you have to go through this sequence every single time you take damage in a challenge run like this. And it is not fun, especially with these wonderful base PS4 loading screens. So a lot of the times during this run, you're going to see me lose a lot of patience waiting for the AI or the NPCs to trigger the next section. Like, take Carlos, for instance. He's going to be, you know, blocking your way in this hallway. He's going to be standing in the way, talking to you. And occasionally you're going to see me gyrate with the character, which I believe is going to come up pretty soon if you wait and see. But anyway. Yeah, folks, I did not think I would be able to do a run like this, but again, I had a lot of free time. Oh, there it is. There's the gyration. See? There's Jill doing it right there. Whoop, 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 whoop. There it is. You have to entertain yourself during a run like this, folks. This is how you stay sane. And what really upsets me is that this is the fastest you're ever going to see Carlos run. Why can't you run that fast when you're playing as him? And instead, you get that wonderful dad jog that he does around the entire hospital. But anywho, folks, the beginning is pretty straightforward, as you know, people who are familiar with the game know already. Inferno is no joke. The key items you have to pick up are changed. Enemy placement is different. Enemies later on in the game are placed earlier on in the game, hence the wonderful tentacle zombies that we all love and hold dear to our hearts. The other thing about this is you get the Magnum very early because of those tentacle zombies. And it's very kind of Capcom to do that on a difficulty such as this, because those tentacle zombies are horrible. They are run killers for sure, and they have killed my run hundreds of times, I can confidently say. So, fun strategy here that, if you aren't familiar with, is very important. Most speedrunners can actually dodge through that zombie crowd if you're very comfortable with your skills. In a run like this, where you're doing no damage and you only have 5 saves and you're going for the S rank, I do not trust myself with the dodge. Even on Inferno, where the dodge is 100% more kind to you because the zombies are more aggressive. I do not trust myself at all, so if there's ever an opportunity for me to not use the dodge, I don't use it. And folks, there's going to be sections coming up where I don't use the dodge at all, and you're going to wonder, Susk, why the hell did you not use the dodge just then? And I'm going to tell you, because I'm not confident with my abilities in the dodge, folks. That is why. And I'm especially not as confident because there's no checkpoints, and you only get 5 saves. Alright, so we're pressing on. We're opening up the safe to get the gun upgrade so you can see the aimer better on the zombies' skulls. And that courtyard just then, I'm going to avoid that courtyard at all costs, because all those zombies pretty much have the tentacles attached to their heads, and you don't want to be anywhere near them. So now, in this corridor, you're going to see a zombie pop out. You're going to see me try to trigger her just then. I failed the first time, and the second time I got her. So, she has killed me on this run, on one of my attempts. So you're going to see me be especially cautious with her. And because I don't have the speed runners tool, since I'm playing on the base PS4, I don't know how much HP the enemies have. And I feel like for a run like this, that is especially useful. And that just then, I am very pleased about that, but that won't happen 100% of the time, folks. Because the beauty of this game is that it is inconsistently consistent. The RNG of everything is against you, I feel like, especially as the difficulty adjustment starts to increase. And if people know about difficulty adjustment, on Infernal difficulty it goes up to 19, especially when you're connecting all your shots, when you're hitting everything perfectly. You're going to see that the enemies are going to be a bit more tankier, and your bullets won't do as much damage, which is very important to know, especially for a no damage run. So if you're ever planning to do a run like this, go into the game expecting that. It's very important. And at times, I felt like the game would do everything in its power to just fuck me over. Like, if I wasn't quick on the trigger just then, that guy would have slapped me with his tentacle across the face. So now, there's typically 3 zombies in that room. 2 of them are tentacle zombies, and then there's one that is a normal zombie like this guy. So it's very important to stay on your toes and be especially careful. That's me checking in the window to see if that's where that tentacle zombie is, and he's definitely coming out. So luckily, I get a cheeky shot in his weak point in the back of his head just then. There's a tiny slit in the back of these tentacle zombies' heads where it's their weak point, and if you hit it from the side, either with multiple handgun shots or point blank from the back, it does the most damage. And that's especially useful, especially later on in the lab, where you face plenty more of those guys, and you have to fire at them from a distance. But anyway, we'll get to that section later on in part 2. So that was me going through the rooms. I'm basically just going around picking up all this ammo that I need, and ammo that'll be proving useful, so later on I don't have to worry about this when Nem is up my ass. And here's the wonderful zombie that, if you guys aren't familiar, SHAREfactory. He's a great YouTuber and streamer. He does a little bit more streaming now, but he still releases his YouTube projects. In his YouTube walkthrough, he did not even kill that zombie, and he warns you guys to kill that zombie, because if you're going through the hamburger store over there, Nem is on your ass, and you have to go as fast as you can, and not knowing where that zombie is, you're automatically at a disadvantage, so be cautious of that. Now, that's one thing I'm proud of that I did in this run. However, you're going to see many close calls on this. And that's the point of this run, this no damage run, is that as you're going through each segment until your first save, which by the way, my first save in this run is going to be just before the drain demos. And the drain demos are RNGesus bullshit to the max. Every person that you talk to who has played this game on Inferno, who is going for either no damage or S rank or no damage and S rank, is going to tell you that those drain demos are cancer. 100% cancer in this run. So definitely save before them if you don't want to go all the way to the beginning again and watch all those cutscenes and have to drive into Nem for probably the 50th time, which I had to do anyways on this run because I had stupid mistakes throughout this whole thing. But it was interesting because as I was playing this, as I was going through this run entirely, I noticed that my gameplay in these videos is either significantly worse at times or significantly better at times than the videos I posted previously. And the reason why it's significantly worse is that I start to play with the nerves to the max towards the end of these saves, the save segments specifically. And when your nerves are bothering you, you start to make very stupid mistakes, folks. You make a ton of mistakes, and you start to play at the utmost caution so that way you don't make any of those mistakes. So in other words, you're overthinking a lot. You're just constantly thinking, you're constantly trying to anticipate, and make sure that you don't make an error. Otherwise, you're going to have to start the whole segment again. And if you're wondering why I magnumed that dude right in the head, I barely went into the door frame there, and it does not trigger the zombie to know where you are. So you can easily pop his head. And I chose the Magnum because he killed me on an attempt before. So you bet your ass I pointed a Magnum at him and destroyed his skull. So be sure to pick up that grenade. It's very important. Grenades are your friend in this run. You're going to need a ton of them, especially for certain segments of the game. If there's a particular boss in general that you want to down relatively quickly, despite all of the bosses in this game being tanky as fuck, with the exception of Nem 1. I would save those grenades for those bosses. So, anywho, I'm just going around here, opening up the lockers, picking up any extra grenades, any ammo, and basically just anticipating all these areas for when you have to run through here a second time with Nem on your ass. But yeah, folks, you definitely don't want to be dilly-dallying around when Nem is on your ass, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm getting relatively close to being done with exploring this whole area. I believe this is the last alleyway I have to check, last section of the city area that I need to check. I shotgunned that dude because he gave me trouble. I think he killed a run attempt before, so I shotgunned him. And there's a lot of good things here. You know, there's another one of those jewel chests that are very important. The 3 jewel chests on Inferno, and I believe on normal as well, give you, you know, the same things: the shotgun stock, the grenade, and the extra inventory space. But yeah, of course, as you go into this alley, you're going to trigger 2 tentacle dudes, and they're going to try to get into this gate, but you know, as you see here, I'm trying to conserve some magnum ammo and kill them with my handgun. And yeah, if you shoot them in the eye, of course, too, that's a pretty weak point. But part of me thinks that the back of their head is more vulnerable. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me, of course. So yeah, it seems that we picked up everything, I believe. And now I'm making my way back through this building. There shouldn't be a threat in here at all, because again, Horseshoe Bald Man is down, who somehow made his way into this building from the construction site and decided to plant himself in front of the safe. And yeah, folks, I believe it's a straight shot to the next area, which is the garage, and then the alley that leads from the garage to the Drain Demos part. So there's really nothing in danger here. But yeah, folks, this was not easy. I struggled a lot during this run. It is not easy at all, and major props to anybody who has just the audacity, the braveness to do a single segment run of this game with doing no damage, especially no damage and S ranking. Which of course S ranking will come naturally because you're not even saving. But yeah, major props to those guys, whoever is able to do it, and I'm sure there have been runs already. But yeah. So folks, I wouldn't, if you do this run, try not to use shotgun ammo in that part. I could have easily used a pistol on that generator to put the dogs down. But of course, since I was close to the first save, I wanted to ensure that I got there and not have to watch the beginning again. Because that's what it comes down to, folks. You start to just lose patience. You start to try to find the quickest way, the quickest route from segment A to segment B. And my advice to you guys, if you ever try a run like this, is to don't focus on the game in its entirety. I mean, obviously prepare yourself and anticipate certain segments and save ammo, and especially shotgun ammo, which I definitely don't save, as you'll see during the Drain Demos part. But save that ammo to make your life easier later on if you can. However, when you're doing these runs, when you're doing each save, if you plan on saving 5 times like me, look at that son of a bitch right there. He almost got me. That would have been it. That would have been the start. But luckily he didn't. He didn't grab me. If he was a pale head, he would have grabbed my ass right there. But he didn't, luckily. So, and then we make it to the first save. Another helpful word of advice on this, folks. Do not save now. Save after Jill vomits. Because guess what? I had to watch her vomit over 50 times in this section. 50 times of having to go and pick up this lockpick. 50 times of having to take the herb to watch Jill frickin' vomit the parasites out of herself. Save yourself some time and don't do what I just did. I believe my mistake was because I was so excited I got to the very first save on this run. I wanted to really save before anything bad happened, because my mind got the best of me. Your nerves get the best of you on these runs, so that's why, folks. But anyway, I skipped the lovely cutscene that we all, appreciate, and this is mandatory damage. That's the only part you're going to see me take a green herb or any sort of healing item, because again, that was mandatory damage and you have to watch her vomit. This section requires a lot of rehearsing. And by rehearsing, I mean expect bullshit to happen left and right, because this section is not consistent. Everybody will agree with you on that. This section is absolute cancer. And luckily your first save is before this, but the sections after this you don't want to take damage on, because then guess what? You have to go straight before the frickin' spiders. And so you see me use the handgun at first, and then I start to lose patience because a shotgun shot will instantly kill these guys. One hit. Even from a fairly large distance. So that's what I choose to use on this run. Even though it's very resource heavy, I use a ton of ammo, which I recommend people don't. And it's pretty funny because there's a guy named the Godfather Dictator. He's a great guy, and he's been doing a lot of no damage runs for many years now. And he ran through this whole section. He didn't even pick up the shotgun like me. And he ran through this whole section without the shotgun and just pistoled the generators and pistoled the spiders to stun them. He was an absolute beast. I'm not a beast, folks. I shoot things with a shotgun because I want them to die. And I don't run past them and I don't dodge them. Even though I have the comfort of a save right before this point. So you can see where my mindset is. But yeah, folks, as Carcinogen had pointed out, every time you touch the generator, the spiders will automatically be drawn to your location. So you can see there that I was using that, and that was really freaking close right there. I don't know how that spider didn't get me, but that was freaking lucky right there. And some of this run is going to be absolute luck, folks. Things that you see in these videos won't happen in your run, and things that happen in your run probably didn't happen in mine, because this is the nature of this wonderful game that Capcom has created for us. The game of RNGesus to the max. So, but anyway, it still goes without saying, folks, that this game is very enjoyable. I loved a lot of it. I believed it was lacking in a lot of areas, like such as the clock tower puzzle, being able to enter the clock tower. What they did with Nemesis was interesting, and I mean, I'm not a huge fan of, and of course I really do hate that final boss. I believe the final boss is a huge run killer to most runs, especially speedrunners. I know that speedrunners have a really tough time with that final boss, and that's purely because of the acid. If the acid touches you, you slow down, and one hit on Inferno kills you with the final boss. So guys, if you ADS, or if you dodge at the right time, you won't be stunned by Nemesis breaking the brick wall. So, and that's a speedrunner's strat. That's a pretty well-known strat. You're gonna see me run into that wall because, again, I don't want to take damage. I don't want to freaking take damage and go back to those damn spiders. So these are nerves to the max, folks. And this segment is very long coming up. There are a lot of areas where you can easily take damage from zombies or from Nem. So be on your toes, and what helps is to make saves on Inferno and practice those segments. That was very lucky right there. He did the yell instead of running up to punch me, because he has hooked me before. And then, of course, he goes ahead and pulls me down with his tentacle, but usually he won't do anything right after that tentacle pull, so you can go for the generator right there. You're going to see me again use a lot of shotgun ammo, folks, because, again, I'm not taking any chances. I could have probably perfect dodged those zombies, but I didn't. And I explained why, because I suck at the dodge. And when your nerves are at the max, my dodge probably sucks even more. So,
Now what?
we made it to the puzzle. Be sure to touch that puzzle, because when Seraphim17 was streaming, Nemesis actually entered this room, which I didn't even think was freaking possible. And yeah, so be sure to touch that puzzle so that way Nemesis doesn't enter the room and kill your run. And you have to start all the way back at the spiders again.
Hurry back to the station. We'll make sure the subway's ready to depart.
But yeah, folks, I'm really enjoying, I mean, apart from this game, because this game can be RNGesus garbage at times, I'm really enjoying the challenge run scene. I love taking games that I enjoy very much and making them more challenging for myself by either adding the no damage requirement or, doing any sort of challenge that's fairly similar. But yeah, I typically only do runs like these on games that I adore or games that I love very much. And I don't love this game as much as others, don't get me wrong, because after this run, I started to play RE4 on PS4 at 60 frames, and I was smiling, guys. I was smiling the whole time when I was playing that, because I forgot how much of a masterpiece it was. And just how balanced that game is compared to this one. And there are so many tools to your disposal. There's so many mechanics that work just soundly. I was grinning the whole time. Because when you shoot an enemy in RE4, they get stunned, no matter where you shoot them. Yes, you may not be able to get the action QuickTime event where you either kick them or do a backwards roundhouse kick to their backs. But they flinch. They flinch. You shoot them in the shoulder, they grab their shoulder. You shoot them in the leg, they move their leg. The zombies... Okay, by the way, alright, I need to talk about this right now. That was 100% luck right there. That was 100% luck. And if you were to ask me what I did right there, I wouldn't be able to tell you guys. I wouldn't be able to tell you how that tentacle didn't hit me. You know why? Because this game is RNGesus. That is freaking why. So yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar my heart right now is pounding against my chest. And I'm just trying to take some deep breaths while putting this puzzle in, taking some deep breaths, because guess what, folks? There's a huge RNGesus moment coming up where as soon as the next cutscene ends, Nemesis will either hook you and end your run, or if you move the camera fast enough to be able to dodge him properly, you'll be fine. And I was thinking about that the entire freaking time I was putting these gems in. But anyway, yeah, RE4 is just such a masterpiece. And I was talking with Seraphim17 after this run, because he was very kind to be able to show this run on his stream during one of his streams earlier. And, again, Seraphim17, if you're listening to this commentary, thank you again for doing that. I really appreciate that. That was, too kind. You did not have to do that. But yeah, he recommended to me. So, hold on, before I go on to that, what I usually do is I run forward, I move the camera right away. Because in my practice runs, when I would dodge too fast, and Nem would punch me right away. So instead, I run, I move the camera, and I pray to God he doesn't hook me right away. And luckily he didn't this run. So now, Also, fun fact, guys, in my practice run, I actually waited too close to the barrels and I blew myself up. But again, as you learn from your practice runs, you learn what works and what doesn't. And waiting on that end works. The other thing that happened is I waited too far to the left, so Nem actually went around the wrong way of the shelf and sucker punched me to my death. So that was a fun run. But anyway, Seraphim17 actually recommended to me that I do an RE4 no damage professional run, only with the speculation of using only weapons that you get from picking them up. So in other words, you can't go to the shop, you can't go to the shopkeeper and buy any expansions for the attaché case, you can't buy any upgrades for guns, you can't buy any new guns, you can't buy the sniper rifle, not the rifle, and instead you use it as an on-site procurement run, or OSP, as Miller calls it, Master Miller from Metal Gear Solid. So I think I'm going to do this a little after I finish the commentary for this, and maybe play some other games to just cleanse myself of this run, because guys, this run, oh, it haunts you. It just haunts you, this run. It gets in your mind, it makes you hate playing this game. It's just horrible, guys. And Godfather Dictator, who did this run, I want to say did most of this run on stream. Props to him for doing this on stream, because I would not be able to concentrate on chat while streaming this if I chose to stream it. Because I needed to be 100% focused. Like, usually you can, listen to Spotify while playing some games, or, have a stream on in the background while playing. But no, this run required 100% focus on my part. So props to TGD for doing that. And again, throughout this entire run, I was messaging TGD, and because he was doing this run along the same time as me, and I got to save one before he decided to do it on stream. And I kept sending him messages left and right, complaining about this run, being like, oh man, I can't do it. There's no way I can make it through this. And that man is a saint for putting up with all my bitching and complaining. So, thank you to you, TGD, for giving me encouragement, even though I kept spamming you with my messages. But anyway, folks, put on the grenade, and this is a speedrunner strat. I saw Bach and a bunch of other people use this, like Distortion, and I'm not sure actually if Carcinogen did this. I didn't see his run in entirety, but sometimes the grenade works and downs them in one. Other times it doesn't. So I ended up using 2 extra shotgun shells on these guys because they're absolute garbage, and I hate that enemy, and they should be deleted from the game. But anyway, this guy is going to creep up. Fish monster is going to creep up from behind the waterfall. It only does that in Inferno and in Nightmare difficulty, but not in the lower difficulties, not in Hardcore or anything else. So, fun fact, when the fish monster does that, you can run past him. But because my nerves were at the max to this point, because right now the only thing that lies between me and the next save is the sewer section, and then 2 zombies in the way of the save before Flamethrower Nemesis. And because my nerves were at the max, I did not even trust myself to run past these creatures when they could clearly be run past when they were in the stun position. So you're going to be wondering, Sesk, why would you waste such precious ammunition on these creatures? And I tell you, because I was nervous as fuck. And that's why. When your nerves are at the max, folks, you don't think straight. You don't think clearly. you don't have confidence in yourself, your confidence is zapped, and your strength has to come from within to persevere. So, you will see me now kill every single fish monster in this sewer because I don't want to run past them. It's as simple as that. And looking back on it now, guys, I'm probably a much better player than I am, honestly, in this run. And you become a better player towards the end of this run if you decide to do such a thing. Because you learn the game so much. You learn the game 110% more than if you were to play it on a normal difficulty or a lower difficulty. Because it really pushes you. It does. Especially with the DA at its max level of 19. It truly pushes you out of your comfort zone. Which, don't get me wrong, I love to be pushed out of my comfort zone in games, which is why, ever since trophies became a thing, I started to push myself to get those trophies and no longer play on easy difficulties or normal difficulties. And play on the harder difficulties because, I wanted to 100% complete them. And I enjoyed those games that I bought. And, I don't regret it. It helped me become a better player all around. But yeah, you're going to be smacking your forehead when you see me when you see how much ammo I use in this sewer. But again, no regrets, folks. No regrets. And if you're watching this and you're seeing that it is possible to get an S rank, no damage on Inferno, you can use this much ammo, and it is possible. Will it be easier? Probably not. It won't. So try to conserve your ammo and don't do what I do, folks. Learn from this gameplay and don't do this. Especially now. I could have easily ran right to the ladder just then. But I didn't. Because I didn't trust myself. So yeah, move on up. At this point now, there's only one fish monster standing between us and the exit to the sewer. And then, save 2. And again, folks, I did not want to go back to those frickin' spiders again. I did not want to see those spiders ever again. Never a frickin' again. So that is why I also kill all these sewer creatures. Because again, you just can't take any risks. You can't take any risks at all. There it is. There's the stun animation right there. When it gets down on its knees and it opens its mouth like that, that is the stun that you can run past. But again, it's all about your comfort level. If you're able to overcome these challenges, go ahead and run past them. If not, that's fine. Kill them like I did. Kill them all. But anyway, folks. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that next challenge run for RE4 because again, RE4 is a way more enjoyable game, and the fact that they're thinking about remaking RE4 inevitably makes me very nervous. RE4 is charming in so many levels, and the mechanics just work so soundly. Oh, and by the way, just then, you see me there, I forgot the battery. I almost made it down the ladder and forgot the battery entirely that gets me out of the sewer. So again, don't repeat what I just did. Pick up the battery. Luckily, I wasn't short on time. I ended up having 10 minutes to spare at the end of this S rank run. So again, you have nothing to worry about if you make those little mistakes like I did. That, of course, don't result in you taking damage. Because, of course, if you take damage, it's a reset. So,
Carlos, can you hear me now?
anywho, this is coming across
Yeah.
the eve of save number 2.
Great. The subway's ready to go. We'll leave as soon as you make it
And what's very important here is that listening to those radio conversations will help you save time. The timer will not tick when you're listening to those radio conversations. So be sure to take advantage of that whenever you do an S-rank run. You'll see me now, I'm using precious shotgun ammo to down that zombie because he has grabbed me on one of my practice attempts. Luckily it wasn't one of my final attempts or, attempt at save 2, but it was during my practice attempt, so I learned, don't take any risks, folks. If you're much more confident with the dodge, which I am not, go ahead and perfect dodge those zombies. See, like this guy right here, he is the only zombie between me and save number 2. So what did I do? I stuck my shotgun in its mouth, and I put him down. No hesitation. It guarantees you to proceed without taking damage. So yeah, folks, touch the ladder. The cutscene is going to play. Keep running. And yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity to go on a little tangent. And yeah, again, folks, I did not think I would be able to do this run. I thought it was not possible for myself. But it turns out some things are possible even when they're grueling and even when you want to bash your head against a wall while doing them. So if you're very much dedicated, it is doable. As long as you can put in the time and put in the effort and control your nerves, you can surpass it. Of course, part of it also is a bit of luck, as you witnessed from that wonderful tentacle almost hitting me when I entered the subway again. So bear that in mind as well. So what you're going to see me here take out is I'm prepping the battlefield for NEM 1, Flamethrower Nemesis. And I'm getting my Magnum out, I'm getting some grenades out, and making sure, again, showing you that I did not take damage. If your HP is dark green, it means you did not take damage. If it's a yellowish green, it means you took damage. Again, I'm not using the speedrunner's tool, so I can't have that at my disposal and know exactly what the numeric is for taking damage. But I believe the total amount of HP you have is 1200. If it goes any number underneath 1200, even if it's by 1, that HP will be a yellowish green and fine. But if it's dark green and fine, it means you didn't take any damage. Again, if you're playing on console. If you're on PC, then you don't have to worry because you can use that tool. Did you see that just then? Nem dodged my Magnum. And that was another precious Magnum ammo bolt lost. So now I used all my Magnum rounds on him. And by the way, folks, at this point, this is probably my, I don't know, probably 50th attempt at NEM 1. Because this is a relatively long segment coming up. You have to face NEM 1, go through the alleys of Rocket Launcher NEM, go through the RPG, and then beat NEM 2, all without taking damage. So you can 100% be confident that my patience was at 0 there, and I just didn't give a fuck anymore about how poorly I took down NEM 1. And my gameplay can show it, and I'm telling you right now, my patience was at freaking 0. So this run does a lot of things to your soul, and that is one of them. Destroy your patience. But yeah, folks, we're coming up on Kendo's gun shop. You're not going to see this all the time, by the way. In many attempts, sometimes the tentacle monsters will be in your way, and you will have to perfect dodge them or put a shotgun in their mouth. Luckily, during this successful run, they did not get in my way, and I didn't even have to dodge them or use up any ammo. But again, in your run, it could be entirely different. I practiced this section, again, probably over 50 times. My attempts were over 50. Maybe even more. because every single time in this area, the tentacle zombie was either in my way or he was complying and staying out of my way, so I didn't have to shotgun him or dodge him perfectly. But yeah, you're going to see me put the shotgun on here. I'm going to shotgun him because I don't like him, and sometimes when you perfect dodge, and if you do it incorrectly, you'll have to start at the beginning of NEM 1 again. And then I put on the pistol and go for his weak spot, which is generally just below his head. And yeah, you're going to see me go for the side of his head too, which is also very a good weak spot over there, near the back specifically. And that puts him down. And the reason being for that, folks, is because I go for the explosive rounds that are up here. And because of that, I use a lot of explosive rounds on this run in general. And these explosive rounds are very useful, especially during this next alleyway coming up where you have to chase, where Nem with the rocket launcher chases after you. So what you see here is what I do. I bait the fires. The rocket launcher is there. I wait a little bit here because I found that if I waited there, he wouldn't rush up behind me and punch me. Immediately I go for the explosive round onto the tentacle zombie. I do it again on that zombie right there because I don't want any trouble from him on my run. Because again, if you fail, you have to start at the beginning of NEM 1. Which doesn't seem as bad compared to the spiders, don't get me wrong. This segment is not as bad. It's more so a segment about nerves. The worst segments, in my opinion, are definitely the one involving the spiders, and then the segment going for the infamous save number 4, which is going to be before NEM 3. And that'll be in the next video. So yeah, folks, here I am again using the radio talk to make sure the time doesn't tick down any further. And then we go ahead and press on. And this is a somewhat nerve-wracking part because you have to run away from the ginormous head from Toy Uncle. So as soon as the cutscene ends, even before the cutscene ends, be sure to preemptively hit back on the analog to start running right away. And then as soon as you see that opening, go for it because Rocket Launcher Nem's going to come soaring down. Sometimes he will punch you there, but he did what we wanted because we wanted him to start firing the rocket launcher. And then as soon as you go through this gate, you're pretty much golden. Because if I said that you were golden, your run would be different and Nem would probably catch up to you there and destroy you, for whatever reason. Because this game just loves to do that. It loves to be RNGesus bullshit at times. Especially on no damage runs and especially on S rank runs.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's me checking my HP because it's important to check it here to be sure you didn't take any hits, just in case. Because if you go to Carlos and do the segment on the RPD, you automatically start with Jill as a full heal in the next segment.
What about you?
From the sound of it, I won't be catching the train.
But yeah, this is wonderful,
There'll be new orders.
waiting for the cutscene to move on, or waiting for the script, for the exposition to move on before being able to proceed forward. But yeah, fun fact about this stair technique, the speedrunner's tech from RE2. What I noticed is I didn't have my sprint on toggle on the console. I had it set to hold, and when you have it set to hold, you actually can't do that technique. So if you guys are wondering if it's not on toggle and it's on hold, that's why you can't do the aim, the ADSing on the stairs to go down the stairs faster or go upstairs faster. And I have to check my RE2 remake save because I could have sworn that I had the sprint on hold in that game and I was still able to do the ADSing up and down the stairs to go faster. But then again, my memory, that was over a year ago, so my memory is probably shot at this point. So immediately when you face Brad as Carlos, I turn around and run the opposite way. I don't even bother with the ammo in the crate up there by the 2 zombies at the other end, because again, that's a huge risk. And if you get hit by one of those zombies or get bit, it's a restart all the way back to NEM1. So again, it's all about taking the path of least resistance in this run. So you're going to see me stun Brad ever so slightly there, which requires multiple bullets. If this was RE4 and I shot him once in the head, he would have been stunned and I would have been able to run past him. But thus, this is Remake 3. And now you get to witness, again, a lot of my gyration while waiting for this ridiculous cutscene to play out, because you can't skip it.
Carlos, take a look at this. I've located the star.
This is my impatience and me wanting to move on, so I don't know why you can't skip this part. I don't know why they have to show you the STAR's office every single time. It doesn't make any sense, folks. But,
Good to know.
alas.
Open the shutter so you can get through. You stay here and find out what's been going on here at the station. Call you if I find anything. Hey!
But anyway, we're staying frosty, and we're moving forward. But yeah, folks, overall, I would say this segment is not as bad compared to the other segments of the game. The segment that is definitely second to worst is the spider segment. The first segment that is the absolute worst, in my opinion, is the whole hospital section, defend Jill, having to go through the lab and then do the hunter battle at the end of the lab with Jill, and getting to NEM 3 for save 4. That is the worst. And we'll get to that in the next video. So I put this zombie down. I run quickly past him because he wasn't dead. He could theoretically grab you still. I do a quick elbow at the big zombie coming through the door. Grab the flash grenade and go through this door, and you don't have to deal with that zombie ever again. He will not go through that door. So now, this section is pretty common of a technique. I go ahead and I put some bullets into that zombie right there and get their attention, causing them to go through those doors, this door right here. And I wait at the very end and just take them out as they come in. And I don't hesitate, folks. You got to put as many bullets into them as possible in order to put them down. Because you don't want them to sneak up on you and do a little, you know, disco lunge at you. Because again, you would have to start at the beginning of NEM 1 again. So yeah, the beauty of not having the speedrunner's tool at the end of my screen to be able to check if these zombies are dead. I swear, I probably would have saved a ton of ammo if I had that tool, but alas, it is what it is. I'm on base PS4. So I'm using up a little bit of more ammo on these guys. So yeah, now I'm aiming this way because 2 zombies are going to come out of this door to my right. What was funny is when SHAREfactory was watching this on his stream, he was wondering if I had a mind fart or something, looking at the wall. But no, I was looking towards the zombies, and of course he noticed that, of course, too. It's just always funny when other people watch your gameplay and can read exactly what you're trying to think, you know, just based on their experience because they've been doing it for so long. And I find that fascinating. There's almost like a psychology to that because, you know, most experienced players, you know, like SHAREfactory or the Godfather Dictator or, you know, Carcinogen, they can look at other people's gameplay and know if they're experienced or not. And, you know, as you play video games, as you watch other people, you can determine that for yourselves as well. You don't have to be this big name person. You know, I'm sure there's a ton of people out there who probably have not recorded their gameplay and are doing very well. The only issue is that if it's not recorded, it didn't happen, right? You need the proof to be able to make sure it happens. And that's what pisses me off is that, like, take Godfather Dictator, for instance. He is the world's first person able to no damage Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja difficulty. And people have the audacity, random people, to come into his stream and say, oh, people have been talking about this in discussion groups for many years before you were able to do this. But even I know there's a section in that game that a previous runner was not able to no damage, and he took, quote-unquote mandatory damage, but then Godfather was able to find tech that works out and get him through that without taking damage. So, and then these people come into his stream and they have the audacity to tell him, oh, people have been talking about that in discussion groups for so long, and, oh, this is nothing new to us. Well, where's the video evidence? If there's no video evidence, then it doesn't exist. Anyway, I digress. And that is the end of part 1, folks. I will see you all in part 2. You all take care now.